Hey, we're back at it again. Ray Ray's podcast, live from the ninth floor of Hello Studios, beautiful downtown Dallas. It is your boy Ray.
And Allison.
And we represent Ray Ray's podcast. Glad to be back at you again on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I'm ready for sweater weather. I'm telling you, sweater weather's coming soon, all right? We got a great show planned for y'all today. Make sure you guys are going to YouTube, liking, subscribing, getting that alert from when we drop these videos so you can check out all this amazing action and videos we're putting out. Instagram, TikTok, hell, if you got Facebook or Twitter, go follow us there too. Ray Ray's podcast, okay? So this is the part of the show we like to reset people's days, reset people's weeks, or even your month if you need to. So, Allison, you ready?
Ready.
All right. So, for all of you out there watching or listening, in case no one told you today, you're beautiful, you're loved, you're needed, you're alive for a reason, you're stronger than you think. Hey, you're going to get through this. See, we're glad you're alive, and don't give up. So, keep saying the positive words. I promise they make a difference in your life. All right?
Amen.
All right. So let's get down to the good stuff today, all right? We got a couple of band members in the building today. We've got Brandon representing Black Tie Vendetta, and we have Paco Estrada in the building. All right, welcome guys to Ray Ray's podcast. See the people, they're coming. See, there you go. They love you. Hey.
They're all out there.
They're all out there.
It was hard to get in here, actually. It's very crowded.
The security, let y'all in.
Yeah.
Had to fan them off.
Yeah, they put blankets over us so they didn't see us.
All right. Awesome. Hey, well, thank y'all for coming in and, spending time with us today. Man, we greatly appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to this show we're about to put on for the people here, all right? So let's start it off, all right? So let's start off with you, Brandon. Let's talk to us where the name Black Tie Vendetta came from, and is there a meaning behind it?
Short answer is no meaning behind it. It was just kind of us in a room looking for something that nobody had ever heard of before. So the idea was kind of that word game where each person sort of throws out a word and you see what fits. As you can imagine, a ton of hilarious names came out. This is the one that kind of stuck that we went, okay, we can make a meaning out of it. So I would say we probably, when we were more serious, probably told people that, yeah, it's about raging against society and, the
That's
norms of having to work, but no.
Yeah, I thought you guys were like, I'll never wear black ties ever.
Never. I wear black ties all the time.
So, Paco, is your stage name, is it your real name? You talk to us.
Francisco's my real name. It's Paco's a nickname of Francisco. Frank, Poncho, it's all the same name. But yeah, so I used to play in a band called South FM, and we still kind of play around. But this show was kind of centers around, Black Tie Vendetta was a band that primarily played in the early 2000s in Deep Ellum quite a bit, and so did my rock band South FM. So that's kind of a big part of why Brandon asked me to open up the show acoustic. But yeah, we're gonna celebrate our heyday from 20 years ago and see who would like to come out and hear that again. So get a little taste of their 20s at the Kessler Theater, nonetheless, which is normally we're in Deep Ellum. That's kind of our main neighborhood, so it's nice to be outside of our neighborhood and be on the stage at the Kessler, which is just a phenomenal place. I've never been on that stage. Brandon's never been on that stage.
That's a lie. I've been on it.
What? You've been on that stage?
Yeah.
When you went to go check it out?
It was, no. I played it, I want to say, like 2011. I was doing an EP release, and I invited you, and you couldn't make it.
Uh-oh.
I was shampooing carpets.
Well, I have a question for you, Brandon. Was there a particular influence that brought you guys together with Black Tie Vendetta, and what brought you two together?
Yeah, I mean, with Black Tie, we used to be in metal bands, all my friends, and it's just not good for vocal longevity when you're yelling all the time. And so as we were sort of getting older, wanted to make a shift, but maintain, keep some of that sort of guitar, drum, bass heaviness, and soften the vocal thing. So, I mean, that's where it got going, was, kind of Foo Fighters inspired, that type deal. But, I mean, Paco, we met just from playing together years, on the same stages and all that good stuff. So I'm sure I picked up a few of his flyers when he was passing them out on the corner.
Speaking of passing out flyers, before we started filming the episode, we were talking about social media and how it's so different now. And you used to get on the streets and pass out flyers back in the day. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, we had to. That was really the unless you're sending out, phone call, if you're calling your friends and sending out messages, but most of the time you had to just go down to the streets. We had websites that had message boards on them, but there wasn't, MySpace hadn't really taken off yet. So, our MySpace were our private message boards on our websites, and we were just trying to get traction there. And so, but yeah, you had to go stand on the corner, Main and Crowdus in Deep Ellum, and hand out flyers for 2 weekends before your show to get people out. That's just how it happened.
Do you think it's harder now to get people out to shows, or was it harder then to get people out to shows?
I think it's like everything in life. Anything can be harder or easier, depending on whether you know how to use it to your advantage and to use it as a tool. So social media, like we were talking about earlier, for dinosaurs like myself, I'm 42 years old, and coming from an era of handing out flyers on, in person, it's very different. And sometimes, like, I feel like I'm wrapping my head around Instagram, and I've moved past the MySpace and gone through the Facebook. And, you can see that split. Facebook is for more engaging. Instagram is more for just the scrolling and getting, what you need. And, still ads are dead. And so we're moving to moving ads and, like, just trying to keep up with the Joneses social media wise. But even TikTok, it's like, well, then there's that age gap of like, well, where do I find my place on TikTok? And a lot of it is just like, it's a little overwhelming, but if you can wrap your head around it and you can really, obviously you can use it to its advantage, to your advantage.
Okay. So we just mentioned, the hardships of trying to get people to come out to shows. Speaking of shows, like I said, we briefly touched on this, the reunion show, October 15th at the Kessler, correct?
Yes.
Talk to us about that event, the makings of getting that event to happen, everything's going behind that, and the whole lineup for that show, all right?
Sure. It's a magical night of remembering. It should be a lot of fun, but this all started, so our guitar player turned 40 last year, and his wife made this grand gesture and surprised him in Vegas with all his closest friends, right? So she flew us out, and he had no idea. So he had asked her, what do you want for your 40th? I can't be messing around and just, do something, insignificant or whatever. And she said, well, I've never seen your band play, so that would be what I would ask for my 40th. So this whole concept started from our guitar player's wife saying, I'd like to see the band that I never saw you play in. And so reached out to a few different venues, and Kessler was just kind of the immediate, first one back saying, oh yeah, we'd love to host it here. And so that's how it all came about.
That sounds
that's
like
so cute. How romantic.
Right?
That sounds like a rom-com movie we could start.
Oh man, his head, if he knew that, it would blow up so big.
His life is a rom-com, probably.
It kind of is. He's the one in Hawaii, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So talk to us a little bit about being independent artists and the potential struggles that you've had working independently.
Well, I mean, it's all DIY, so it's as much as whatever you can kind of get out there. It's good and it's bad. You have complete control over your output, and there's nobody telling you need to do this thing. But, by the same token, you're sort of at the mercy of, your limitations, So I think it's really sort of, getting as knowledgeable as you can about the industry and then creating a good team, that can also help move a ship forward. I don't know if you have anything on that, Paco.
Yeah, the team part is the hardest part, because if you don't have the finances to get someone outside of the band, then you're asking band members to be the team and asking musicians to do non-musician type things, which is what is required of an independent artist, and that gets very difficult. So it's hard to, especially you're your own business. So, if you're a band, you have your own LLC and you're protecting yourself and you're trying to write off gas money and strings and instrument, whatever. But, when you do that, then like you're your own boss. So like you wake up in the morning and you have to, like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, who's going to tell me what I need to do this week? I have to tell me. So I have to make that list, and I have to hold myself accountable to that list, because I'm the only one in charge, you know? So it gets tough to be motivated like that and keep it going.
Absolutely. I feel that. And y'all mentioned you're going to be performing at the Kessler, and there were other locations that you were reaching out to, you know, create this awesome show that's about to come out. And you mentioned Deep Ellum is somewhere you used to perform, and there's a lot of, you know, violence and decline in the area. How do you guys feel about that? Like, would you perform in Deep Ellum again, or?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we do all the time.
We just played last Friday night right there, Main and Crowdus at Will Call. Us especially, because we've been, I mean, that's our neighborhood. That's I've lived down there before. I've been playing down there since I was 19 years old. And I think that, you know, any area on any Saturday night that's bogged down with a lot of people that have been drinking, you know, there's going to be acts of violence. But I feel like Deep Ellum over the years gets a lot of heat because it's such a hot spot, and because it's just to the east of downtown. There's a lot of engagement over who owns property down there and how much money they're going to make on whatever they're building there. So you've seen the neighborhood go through a lot of phases. And to me, this is just part of the cycle of Deep Ellum. You know, here it is. It's going to get a certain way, and then there's going to be more social media sort of put on these incidents that do happen. A lot of these incidents are isolated incidents that are happening between people who know each other. There are disputes between two people that are acting out, that have been drinking, that are in a fight. It's not these random acts of violence. And so, but it gets blown up, and then you get people that perpetuate the idea it's an unsafe neighborhood. But it's unsafe anywhere on a Saturday night after midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Absolutely.
the neighborhood goes through ups and downs, and I think, you know, we're at a turning point, but it'll survive. And like live music, no matter what, will always, you know, I think it'll always be the most important part of Deep Ellum.
Yeah, I've been in Vegas for the past 10 years, and I remember going with my brother and friends to shows down in Deep Ellum. So hearing about all this stuff going on as an outsider in Vegas, it made me so sad. So it's nice to hear from someone who actually lives in the neighborhood that it's not as bad as the news it's making it out to be, and hopefully this will pass sooner than later. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now, real quick, we got a segment on the show. It's called
I just wanna get to know you.
Slow Down. We just want to get to know you. This is where we're going to ask you some questions, kind of really get to fill you out and really get to know you. Also have to mention that Slow Down is brought to you by Lyrically Correct. If you think you know music trivia, go buy the Lyrically Correct card games at lyricallycorrect.com. Put in promo code RayRay to get 20% off your purchase, all right? So, questions for both of you gentlemen, all right? What are some of your favorite songs to play? And also, do you cover a lot of songs, or do you mostly original work?
I mean, for me, it's sort of split. I'm, you know, a working musician, so I'll do 3-hour sets. The ones that I like to do are the 45-minute sets, and I typically don't do any covers during those. But, you know, the longer ones, I do a bunch of covers, and you try to just kind of rework them and make them into your style, you know.
Yeah, I would say, you know, same thing for me. I do, you know, solo gigs or even full band gigs that require 3 hours, 4 hours worth of music. And then, you know, even just the original stuff. I like to throw originals in the middle of my cover sets and see how people respond. That lets me know whether it's a good, you know, whether I should keep working that song or not.
Yeah.
But also I like to make covers my own because I would just get bored trying to do them exactly, you know, like they are. And one of my favorite songs to play of all time that I cover is If I Ever Fall by Shy. And I love to see it's like either you know it or you don't know it, but I just feel like people just respond a certain way when they're just somewhere. I played, like at Sambuca 360, I played there last night, and, you know, when you just throw that out there and you see people's heads perk up, and it's like, do you know that song? And then they just, you win them, you just win them over with that song.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those obscure songs. I got it on one of those CD deals where you got like 12 CDs for the price of one, like Columbia
I
House.
remember those.
And, you know, you send in a fake name or whatever, you know, and then they just start sending you CDs. And it's just such a beautiful song. I remember it was K104. I just remember they play it on the radio all the time. So that's like my favorite song to play right now.
There's like 3 versions of that song. I
Yeah,
heard.
yes. Yeah, the acapella version, yeah.
I have a question for you guys that's going to kind of make you dig into your brain a little bit. If you could create a super band of anyone, any member of any band, who would it be from any era and generation?
Oh man. Okay, I guess I'll go. Is that I can go first. Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. If he could play with me, he's a singer in a band called Wilco. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, so Dave
Yeah.
Grohl, if I could put him on the drums. And I'll play bass and sing. That's a three-piece. That's a power trio right there.
I'd love to hear that.
Oh man, full band. Can they be dead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any generation.
I mean, wouldn't you want to go back and get like Miles Davis to be playing horns on all your stuff, no matter what he did?
Coolest
Yeah.
cat in the world.
Just go for it, whatever you want to play. Chris Cornell was one of my favorite songwriters of all time. So just to have him in the band as a songwriter, just let him sing pretty much. I would just do whatever he asked me to do. So, those, I think if you dig back, wouldn't you ask Beethoven to play piano?
Oh my God,
Probably.
absolutely.
It'd be like that, Bill and Ted's. You'd have to get in that time machine, go back and find all these people and assemble this amazing band.
You guys told us a couple people you could make a super band with. Who are some of your favorite shows that you've attended and seen?
Man, that's I have to go back through the Rolodex. Yeah, you go first.
I would say just on a local level, just recently went to Deep Ellum and saw a band from Galveston called To Whom It May. Mm-hmm. They're a heavier rock band, but they're amazing. It just reminded me that, rock music on a local level, or on a state level, it was such a national sounding band. And it just, I think rock music is in a lot of different places, right now, but I feel like on a national level, rock music is at a point where, I don't know, I feel like it needs some help, I feel like rock is dying because it's all sounding the same in a lot of ways. So this was just a band that was like, oh yeah, they're from Galveston too. Like, it's nice. I hope they make some big waves, So that was just local. I like to see, I don't know, something about just going down and seeing something local is more intimate sometimes than the big old show with all the, Drake though, the opposite of what I just said. Drake though, the American Airlines a few years back when he had the yellow Ferrari flying around inside, that was a wild show. That was really cool just to see and that was the first time I had ever seen the drones. Like, he had all these little light drones come in, and they were just, mapping out things in the sky, and I was just like, what is going on? It was a pretty wild show, so that was probably, that left a big impact on me.
Yeah, I'd have to piggyback off the local thing. I mean, I remember every Fair to Midland show, me not wanting it to be done, which I think that's a good gauge, because so many shows, I think by the end of them, I'm like, okay, I've seen enough, I'm ready to go home, even for a band that I love. But I mean, I remember them being a show that not once, when they were done, I was not ready for them to be done. And there's a band called Mute Math that I used to see a lot too, sort of the same way.
So you touched on something about rock bands, it sounding the same and not enough basically exposure for rock bands now. I don't know if you heard recently they're getting rid of 97.1, the Eagle. They're gonna make it a sports radio show.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, so a lot.
And that's confirmation, of the reality of rock music. Yeah. It's like anything, you start, hey, this is what sells, this is what's popular, let's do that. And then you check it out 20 years later, and it's a carbon copy of a carbon copy, and it's lost all touch of something that's unique and really draws attention to young people. So, but that happens in genres. That's just something that happens in general, but it is right now, you see it happening. And, terrestrial radio has, I think has lost its, it's and everybody's on the internet. It's the iHeart radios, it's whatever, it's XM satellites, and then you have your Octanes and your, those stations that are geared towards rock music, and you can survive there. But even if you listen to that, even if you are a rock music fan, you can put that blindfold test on, and how many songs are like, well, is that artist or is it that other artist? It's it really all starts to blend together, honestly. We need some refreshments going on.
And it's kind of touch on what you said. Yeah, there's a lot of genres like that, even like rap. How many times when everyone started that auto tune, all those guys sounded the same? What are these kids saying?
Yeah.
Am I that old that I don't understand what they're saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what the?
You were saying earlier about how we do have, because of the internet now, and it's how many songs are released? I don't know. What was it? I don't know the number. 60,000, 70,000 songs a day are released on Spotify. Like,
Wow.
it's oversaturated. Everybody can do it. We can all have a laptop at home. You know, we saw Billie Eilish and Phineas do it. If we watch a documentary, we say, oh, I can do that. Let me get a laptop. Now I'm making music, you know, in my bedroom, and I'm going to put it out on Spotify. You know, it's just, it's very oversaturated. It's hard to be a musician today. It's almost like, and is there a value for it anymore? It's like people pay subscriptions to hear all the music they want. Like, there's no more like, do you get a concrete thing? I put my work into this, or you're going to buy a vinyl, or you're going to buy a CD, $10. No, it's like, you're just paying some subscription and you're listening to whatever you want, and we're making nothing. And it's like the value of music in general has gone down. It actually heightened up in the live sense because people were like, oh, well, we haven't had live music for this whole time during COVID, so we'll pay this amount of money because we know people want to see live music. It'll help bring people into the doors. But outside of that reality, like, people try to like pay musicians crap.
Yeah,
you know?
little to
it's
nothing.
Like, yeah, it's not a, it's hard to do something that's not valued. But then you have in our past, you know, like, I consider myself like somewhat of a shaman. It's like I'm bringing healing with music in a live sense. When you come see it live, you're getting a certain healing about it. And so that was in some cultures, that was like a very high, you know, important job, something to do, you know, but it's just not necessarily valued today.
Yeah, I was going to ride off of something that you had mentioned about how rock has been dying. I feel like music has its time. Like, you know, we had rock, hip hop, pop. Now it's like Latin music. But you also said 60 to 70,000 songs are released today. There's a lot of blended genres now. Like, country isn't as country as it used to be. It's a lot more poppy, right?
100%,
And then
yeah.
you see all of these rap artists linking up with Latino music artists and creating blended music. So maybe something that rock artists could think of is blending their genre with another one to get back in it. Because I would hate to see a genre like that die, you know?
And you never, I don't think it actually ever will. I mean, everything, kind of going back to the Deep Ellum conversation, everything goes in cycles, you know? So, I mean, these things, people come back and revisit it. It's like you know, it was not cool to wear bell bottoms and all that kind of stuff, and then that all came back.
I'm wearing
and then,
bell bottoms right now.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like everything's sort of, it goes out and then it comes back, and you know, I think that eventually, I mean, hell, so many. My stepdaughter knows who Nirvana is, and she probably shouldn't, you know. But
Yeah. I mean, kids are looking to that old genre of rock music, you know. But I think that's part of the reality of what we have being put out today. Mm-hmm. If it's not interesting enough, and so we go back to the, you know, I think we find what's great, you know.
Well, I'd like to say that the classics will always live on. You know, like right before I moved away from Vegas, I saw Aerosmith and they were freaking killing it. Steven Tyler grabbed my friend's hat off her head. It was such an awesome show. You know, the classics will never die, but I just hope, I guess I could rephrase it, is that I'd love to see rock music like be up in the rise again. But I mean, everything comes in cycles, like you said.
yeah,
Did he give the hat back?
No.
he could afford a hat.
He
That's what
just
I was
kept
thinking.
the hat, and you were like, "Oh, but it's Steven Tyler."
I
Here you
know.
go, honey, take
I was
the hat.
paying attention to that, and I'm thinking, this is negative. This is not good.
Oh no, we had a great time, and you know, some of the girls went backstage and like partied with him and stuff. I'm like such a grandma now. I went home and took the girls who were too drunk to drive home after, but they said they had a great time and he was super nice. So
Nice. And he's got a new hat.
Yeah. There's one thing you did say, you know, how everything comes back around again. It's like now, what was retro is trendy now. You know, you're seeing the big rise again in vinyl records,
Oh, big time.
comic books,
Yeah.
things of that sources of
Yeah.
coming back full circle.
Yeah.
Like back when I was in high school, I liked all that stuff, and I was considered a nerd.
Yeah.
Now I'd be the coolest kid in school.
Well, we Heart of the City, our band together, which is like R&B, soulful with a little bit of rock, but we pressed our album on vinyl, and I've pressed albums on vinyl. Like, it's actually one of the few things that actually can help a band make money, because it offers those hardcore fans that still believe in that. Like, I want a physical product. So instead of just like having a CD or whatever, or a USB sticks, like they actually have a really nice physical product. It brings back the concept of here's the lyrics, here's a book you open. Like, let's have an interactive listening rather than this is just on the background while I'm doing whatever, or 10 other things, you know? And it brings back the that's what I love about records. It's like you have to physically, you put it on, you put the needle down, and it's like this experience you have right then and there. You look at the book, you have this huge artwork in front of you, and like, it's something that takes place. It helps you actively listen to, you know, but there's so much stimulus with us today, especially with our cell phones, that active listening is a very rare thing. And music is always just a background thing in most cases. So I like the vinyl part about it.
Yep.
Okay. One more question for you guys, and we're going to wrap this thing up here. Do you feel there are enough platforms for independent bands?
I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be some kind of middle platform that helps bands organize, like that manages bands without trying to like take this big cut. It's like, hey, we just help you organize a to-do list of what you need to do this month. Oh, you're gonna release a song? Okay, this is what you need to do, and this is the platforms you should be using and things like that. I'd love to have a middleman platform that tells me how to platform. But yeah, I think there's so many things out there. There's so many stages we can be on in our homes, doing nothing, and then just being online and going, oh, here's this, let's make this work for us. So yeah, I think it's out there. You just got to figure out how to use it.
All right, well, guys, thank y'all so much for coming in. And again, tell people about the show that's coming up, and also where everyone can find y'all on social media, all right?
October 15th at the Kessler, really big deal. Royal Sons from Fort Worth, Black Tie Vendetta reunion show. You guys haven't played in what?
Oh, man, it's been,
I
want to say 10 years. It's been...
Yes, 10 years. And then myself, I'll be opening an acoustic Palco Estrada of the band South FM, all South FM songs. The infamous Kessler Theater down in Oak Cliff, October 15th. It's a really big deal for us, so please come check us out.
Where can they find you on social media?
You know, at Palco Estrada TV on Instagram, Palco Estrada on Facebook. I don't really have a website right now. heartofthecitymusic.com. That's probably the most important website to myself right now. And Black Tie Vendetta, what do you
Ours
guys
is just, it's at Black Tie Vendetta or / Black Tie Vendetta, everything, so.
Cool.
All right, cool. Hey, well, thank y'all for taking time out to be with us on Ray Ray's podcast today. Allison, you got anything?
We can end this on a positive note. You know, love yourself, love others, be kind, be generous. The world could use more of it.
Okay.
I want to add to that, just give yourself a high five in the mirror. And it'll make your day. You'll just feel a little bit better. Just look yourself in the eye and give yourself a high five.
I've never done that before.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to do that now.
He,
that sounds like really
he
fun.
sprinkles these little nuggets that I put in my back pocket sometimes, and I try them, and they always work.
If no one's going to give you a high five, you can give yourself
Right.
one.
Well, yeah, like the first thing of the day.
Thank y'all so much. Also, real quick, I want to thank one of our sponsors, Elite Pro Wash, Power Washing. So if you need to clean up some graffiti, clean that new boat you just bought, clean some chimneys or sidewalks, go to eliteprowashing.com. Tell them Ray Ray's podcast sent you, and they'll take care of you, all right? And, you know, we like to wrap the show off with some positive words, you know, just to kind of play off what Allison said. Just tell this self to yourself. Look in the mirror, you know, get your swagger on. Tell yourself, I will boss up physically. I will boss up mentally. I will boss up spiritually. And I will boss up financially. Invest in yourself. This is Ray.
And Allison.
And we're Ray Ray's podcast, and we're out.
Hey, get money all day.